Hello there, this is Travalgar Valentine. I'm just going to do a few tips for you today. I'm shading this vehicle in the Fiat Panda. You'll see a video uploaded somewhere on my Vallertine Garage playlist. Anyway, I just want to share some tips for shading, just to help you on the way if you want to shade in solid black like they do in comic books. And this very helps if you start off with very thick and thin pens. Just so I've got like a permanent thick felt tip pen there. And then for very small areas I've got 0.05, so it helps have a large like contrast, maybe like 2 or 3, but anyway, for large areas such as this block here that I want to shade in, normally there's different ways you can actually do this. You can go into do the center first, but you have to slow down just on the edges, so you don't want to go over these flat edges here. What I tend to do is put a ruler down where the flat edge will be, and this just allows me to tap against this ruler and go along with speed, and then slow down when you want to do these thin edges, and again the top section. And this way, if you press the ruler down and tap against it, you don't have to worry about this edge, and this edge stays nice and crisp. Okay, so for tip number 2, use a thin pen for your thick shades. When you start shading in thick pen, such as this here, although it's nice and thick and it covers up a lot of areas, it can leave things a bit blocky and a bit blotchy. So on small drawings, especially like this, what I'll do, I'll come back with my thin pen here and just smooth out the edges with the thick pen. So smooth out the edges with the thicker pens that you use, just to crisp up these lines a little bit, because they're heavy black markers, mainly just to cover up surface areas. So you can even just do the edges first and then go with the black pen afterwards. Okay, tip number 3, because you are using black and white, you're not using any gradients in between, you've got to try and make the shadows gradually get a bit lighter. So by doing this you can slowly thin them out. So by adding this block here and then feathering this out into a triangle shape, and to get thinner at the top. So I'll just show you that again. Do quite a thick block, and then for gradually getting lighter, do one line going up. Maybe I'll zoom in just so you can see. So I've got one line going up there, just very gradually, and then just do another line just going diagonally across in like a triangle shape, and at the point come straight up. And this way the eyes follow down to the shadow, but just get those gradual areas all in. So again, just a thick block, then these shadows get gradually thinner for light areas. As you can see here, because I've got a lot of different edges here, but I still want to apply a lot of shading to them, but I don't want to lose these thin edges that I have. So what I've done is I'm leaving white highlights in between where I want edges to go, even if it looks a little silly at first, but if it's definitely black on black, leave these thin white edges here to identify all the different shapes that you've got. So this shadow I've got in the corner, as you can see, I've left little white lines there to individual all the different shapes. So another section here, let's leave a thin white line in between there. And then for my final tip, have an area that highlights more the darker and the lighter. Although this might sound a bit silly at first, but you've got to have an idea where the light's going to go. So if it's coming from the top here, this is where the shadow is going to get greatly smaller and smaller and smaller. And then a thicker black line here just to have a bit of contrast. So this is where the heavy shadows will be. So this pulls the car kind of down to the ground, and your eyes focus more on the black with the contrast to the white. So if you're having, so you could do the shadows all the way around, is to create like kind of and pull the eye into the centre. You could also do the shadows at the top to pull the eye from the bottom up. So this kind of drags the eye down, and then you can do it from the bottom up. So have an idea of where you want the eye to transfer into the picture. You can do it in the centre diagonally, so the light comes in from the centre. And you can move where people's eyes are going to go by how thick your contrasts are. So you can see with this lower car, if I zoom out a little bit there, you can see how much lower, and then how the eye draws down to it. So those are my 5 tips. Use a ruler for flat edges. Use a thin pen to fine up all the thick lines. Make shadows thinner for lighter as it gradually gets up there. Use all these different white edges to highlight all the different shapes, and have an area for your darkest and for your lightest. Hope those 5 tips were helpful, guys, and thanks very much.